Hey everyone, it's Norm Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the Amazon FBA and e-commerce podcast.
Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm. Lunch with Norm.
Okay, just a quick shout out to all my new friends and people I met down at the Miami Amazon Powwow and over in Edmonton at the Amazon Sellers Conference. They were both great conferences, and anyways, met a lot of really interesting people and did a lot of networking. All right, so today's show, we're going to be talking about how to improve sales with professional product images for Amazon listings. We've talked about this before, but we're going to reinforce this and also talk about a few other tricks. Our guest today is on a mission to create a service which provides product photography as easy as possible. He works with sellers to make sure that the images turn out exactly as the way they envision them. That's tough. By the way, that's really tough. Anyways, today, first time guest, we're going to be talking to Stephen Braun from Fast Product Photography. Okay, before we get to this though, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to my buddy Dima over at Sellerize. Sellerize is your comprehensive solution for your everyday business needs. It's everything that you need to grow and scale your Amazon business in just one click away. For more information, contact Dima and his team over at Sellerize.com. Sellerize has one R. Kelsey.
All right. Hello.
Look at you and your look at you and your little stash there.
I know it's coming in thick, isn't it? It's a
see.
work in progress.
Peach fuzz. Kelsey's mustache.
Yeah, it's the lines are blurred.
Yeah,
But welcome Manny, Simon. We have Rad joining us, Rosalind from Florida, also Stephen Pope from Florida. He was a past guest. He's been on several times, a friend of the podcast. So welcome, Stephen. And Daniel from Brazil. It's great to see everyone. Borat is back. Yep, that is right. Thank you, Simon. Appreciate it. But yeah, this luscious stash is for our Movember charity fundraiser that we're doing in the Lunch with Norm group. If you're interested, go over to our group, Lunch with Norm, Amazon FBA, and e-commerce collective, and we're helping raise funds for Movember Canada. And so if you're interested, please donate what you can, and giving it a like and a share would also do a lot of good too.
So what's the charity about? Is it for people that can't grow beards and they have beard extensions or what?
That's really funny. It's for mental illness and
Very good.
raising for men's cancer. But yeah, let me see any other comments. Okay. You can find all the episodes on our YouTube channel as well. If you missed out, that's just Norman Farrar. That's all the daily episode highlights, and full episodes are there as well. And also we can start off by smashing those like buttons, getting those thumbs up going, and sharing this out to any of your friends and family that are interested in Amazon and e-commerce. So I know you guys missed us on Friday. We had some travel.
That's a first.
Conflicts. Yeah, that is a first. But we will have Brent back later in November. But anyways, we can jump right in, and yeah.
Are you telling me what to do?
I sure am.
Okay. Well, you know what? It is really good to be back in my own studio. I don't have to worry. I don't think I have to worry about the Wi-Fi going out, but it's just, it's just like sleeping in your own bed.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's get to it. We can sit back, relax, grab that cup of coffee, enjoy the show. And all right, sir, where are you?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. So we've talked off and on very briefly. You've done some work with me, and very happy with the product that you produced. And I thought, well, we've got to reach out to you and see if we can get you onto the podcast.
Oh, I appreciate it. And I also want to start off by saying that I am unfortunately a peach fuzz guy as well. Never been a strong beard guy.
I think the challenge should go out to Stephen Pope. He's got to grow his beard a little bit longer for the month of November. So, Stephen, there's a challenge for you. Okay.
I also want to say thank you to Stephen Pope. But this whole thing was his recommendation, so I really appreciate it.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, so for those of us that don't know you, can you just give us a little bit of a background about you and what you do?
Yeah, so at Fast Product Photography Services, we specialize in Amazon product photography. It's something that we started up because when I was looking into starting an Amazon business myself, there's so many different things you learn about, and there's so many different steps to the process. It's not easy the first time you go through it. And from what I understand, that's where yourself, Stephen Pope, guys and girls like this who provide these sort of services make life so much easier. And the first thing I'll say is I have done some research on both of you guys, and I want to just give a shout out to both of you. It looks like there is millions and millions of dollars of sales that has been done basically, because of you guys. So that's awesome. I was very, very impressed by everything that I read. So I just wanted to say that first.
Oh, thank you.
Second, the thing that really got me going was that even if you were able to get through all of this stuff, the process of sourcing where you're going to get your products from, how to get your business set up, what type of company you're going to have. Even when you think about it, getting a name together is difficult. Every part of that process is difficult. And if you're capable to make any part of that process easier, like you guys do, that's going to help. So one thing that I noticed was when you do the product photography portion of it, a lot of the times it's really difficult to do. There's a lot of different, product photography companies out there, and it's always kind of an interesting thing. So what I noticed is when you are searching for a product photography company, a lot of them just have a form, and basically on their website, you'll fill out the form, you'll send it into them, and then they'll kind of get back to you with a quote. And then after that, who knows how long it's going to take. So what I was thinking was I want to be able to simplify that, because think of Amazon in general. What if you were looking at a product like I'm looking at a water bottle on my desk. What if there was a water bottle and you couldn't see the pricing for that water bottle? If you were supposed to just fill out a form of what you're looking for and they'll get back to you. No one would do that. So what I wanted to do was create a platform specifically for product photography where you could see the pricing of what you're going to get, and it's based on drop-down menus, and everything is going to be automatically expedited. We're going to do things as fast as possible. The main focus is on customer service. It's not, anything else. It's all about customer service and making it as easy as possible for the customer. So that is the background of fast product photography. And, it's when you think about it, it's an easy way to get organic, recurring sales, because when people have an easy experience like that, they're going to come back. So it's been working out really well.
Okay. And, I think that convenience factor is very important. If you do go out and you do have to wait for somebody to get back to you, it just, we talk about the authority, trust, how easy is it to make a sale? And if there's any hurdle there, you could just go to another photographer or to another water bottle or to, whatever that is. So, that's great. So appreciate, you filling us in on that. Looking forward into 2022, are there any differences before we get into the basics and talk about product photography? But are you seeing any differences or anything that people should be concentrating on in the new year?
Well, are you talking about as far as their images?
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like as far as trends go, it seems like a lot of people are moving towards the lifestyle images. That seems to be really popular right now. And I'm not sure if that's something that's been popular for a while. I think that it's obviously been around for a while, but now it seems like if you're going to look for something, we'll stick with the water bottle example. The most popular water bottle on Amazon probably is not just going to be a white background water bottle. You're going to see probably a live model using it, or at the very least a hand model using it, some good infographics, and some lifestyle backgrounds. That seems to be a big part. If you are really serious about selling your product, I think that you want to go for the lifestyle stuff. And it also seems like videos are becoming more and more popular. That's
right.
That's a new one because the competition within Amazon just seems to be getting greater and greater as the platform becomes more popular. You need to find ways to be able to make yourself stand out. And, what I'm saying is probably so elemental compared to the things that you guys deal with and all of the different facets of, running an Amazon business. But as far as the presentation, having something that at least competes with the top competitor with lifestyle images, videos, a lot of that time that's kind of the only way to get your product going. And just something to consider for right now would be gift images heading into the holidays, having some images that are focused on being a great gift or the perfect gift for the holidays, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's important to put the emphasis on that. Okay, so going back to the main image, and what you were talking about, the importance of the quality. We do something called the Brady Bunch, the Brady Bunch effect, and we take all our customers or all our competition, and we basically do a comparison. We send it over to like a PickFu or Usability Hub. PickFu's great for this, and just make sure that our products are equal to or better than the competition. It really does come down to that. And if you think this is something that's crazy, I've done this, I probably fail 50% of the time. I think it's a fantastic image. And then I've got two other images that I think, oh, this one's okay and this one's okay. And I lose. People will say, oh, this is the one to go with. They vote on that one. And if you don't go and do that split testing, you can lose very easily. So
Right.
Quality is very important right now. Before we go, and I know that we don't have the full hour with you today, you have a giveaway today for Wheel of Kelsey. You want to just
Yep.
talk about that for a sec?
Yeah, so basically, this is going to be our base and most popular Amazon package. It's a $175 value, and what it is 5 white background images of your product, and then it also includes an infographic as well. Now, within this, there is no lifestyle type backgrounds. There's no live models or anything like that, but nonetheless, it's still a $175 value, and it ends up being 6 total images. So if you want to upgrade your current listing, it certainly would be perfect for you.
Sure. Even if you have some, A plus or your store.
Right.
Anyways, so that's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. Tag 2 people and you'll get an extra entry. Even better if they comment. Okay, so let's get back to it. On the white background, since you were talking about that for your giveaway right now, what's some important things that people might be missing out? What should they be looking at?
Well, when it comes to white background images, and let's just refer specifically to the main image in
Sure.
this instance, because the majority of the time you are going to be focused on the white background. Sometimes people get around that, but for 99% of the time, it's going to be a high quality white background image. So within that image, it's extremely important that you don't have anything blurry in that image. And this sounds obvious, but you see it all the time. And you can point out the difference between a top quality competitor and someone who is looking to do things under a budget or do it themselves. You can always see these sort of types of little things. So you want to make sure that absolutely nothing is blurry. First of all, you also, another, kind of obvious one is you want to make sure that you take up all of the space within the image. I know that that's obvious for the most part, but another thing to consider is you see a lot of the time that people have their images that are a little bit dark, and these are the types of things that it's so easy to look past them. But if you put yourself in, just put yourself in the shoes of when you yourself are searching for something on Amazon. If you see something that's like a little bit darker or even blurry or it's too small, all of these things are going to affect the way that you see that product, or maybe you won't even see it all because it's a little blur within a giant white background section. You got to make sure that you take up your space and provide some clarity of obviously what your product actually is. Make sure that part is not confusing. That would also be awful.
And for people, like, there's a lot of people that don't want to spend money on a photographer. They do want to do that themselves, and that's fine. Go ahead. I don't recommend that at all. There's certain things that you want to spend money on, and there's certain things that you can do yourself. And photography, unless you are a photographer, don't think because you've got an iPhone that you are one. And but I do want to go out there and just, can we give some tips, like lighting tips? If people are doing it themselves, what are a couple of lighting techniques that you can give so they can at least make the product pop a little?
Well, it depends. So, I would say for most of them, you can do a lot with 2 or 3 professional lights. It's really difficult if you're going to try to do some sort of, home remedy, if you're going to use like a lamp. I've seen videos for stuff like that. I guess you could make it work, but the problem with when you do stuff like that is it's very shadowy. And for Amazon images, you don't really want to have shadows like that. You want everything to be as clear as possible. So it depends on the product. Like if you were doing a water bottle, for example, like we've been talking about, it's a little bit easier. You could probably use 2 or 3 lights, but then you also have to use some light cards to make sure that you get the edges right. And that's where things get difficult. Every single product requires a different set of lighting. But I think that with 2 to 3 professional lights, you could do a lot. You could do a lot of different projects. That's all I'll say. And
Right.
one thing that I want to make sure that I'm clear on too is that for the most part, I'm the one who's doing the graphic design, not so much the picture taking. We have 2 photographers who have, like 60 years of experience between them. They're doing the majority of that stuff. I am capable of doing it myself, but for the most part, I'm the one doing the editing.
Let's talk about that. So when you go and you have an inexpensive photo done, that usually doesn't come with any type of touch up or a graphic artist reviewing
Right.
it. And take that water bottle, for example. You can go and you can take a picture of that water bottle, and you can have nice lights. You can have studio lighting, fine. But if it's a darker color, let's say it's a black, and it absorbs the light,
Yep.
it's up to you as a graphic artist to bring out the enhancements, right? To make it look more like a cylinder with the lights
Right.
coming down the sides. It's so important that you go to the secondary. I call it the secondary team, right? You got your photographers, and then you got to bring it over to your graphic artist. If you're shooting a pillow, and that pillow is wrinkled, or sheets for a bed, they just came. The photographer gets it, and they're putting it over a bed to shoot, and they've got the folds. That's really going to suck. So that's where
and
they depend on you.
There's a couple of things too. There's definitely a lot of aspects, because what people have to realize is that Amazon images are not like typical photography. A lot of the times when you see a set of, let's say it was like a set of 3 water bottles, they're all different sizes and stuff like that. A lot of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, it's not going to be a picture that was originally taken of all 3 of them. Most likely, it's going to be each one taken a picture of individually. You edit them, cut out the background, and then you artificially put them together to make it look as good as you possibly can. Because when it comes to Amazon display, especially for that main image, a lot of the times you have to have that sort of artificially edited effect to it to make it look absolutely perfect. You don't want to see something that looks like it's in the dark corner of something like that. It needs to look perfect. Each piece needs to look perfect. And if that means, doing things artificially and putting them all together, then that's what you have to do. And that's just kind of the name of the game.
Right. I have a lot of people that ask me about the order that the images should be. And there is no specific order. Like with a supplement, it might be different than a pillow. And I know Tony loves pillows. Okay, got you, Tony. And he makes fantastic pillows, by the way, anybody who wants a pillow. But like Storyboards are unique to every product. So one, like, let's take a supplement. You might have one with the package. You might have one with the bottle itself or with the capsules outside so you can see them. You might have a real lifestyle, not somebody with a 5 times the size bottle sitting in somebody's hand of a stock photo.
Right.
But there are all sorts of other things that you can consider. So when you're putting together that, and I'm going to call it a storyboard, what are you taking into consideration with, like, you're seeing different products all the time. How do you know what to take or what position they should be in?
Well, a lot of the time we are going based on what the customer wants. That's the first that's first and foremost. So that would be part of the process where the customer is going to suggest what they're looking for in each image. A lot of the time they are going to draw their ideas from competitors just because when you think about it, it's very, very difficult to describe what image you're looking for if you're just typing it out in Microsoft Word, or if you're just describing it or something like that. Everyone is much more visual. It's so easy, and it kind of goes along the same lines of why your product images are important in the first place. So that's kind of the way that they'll usually share what they're looking for, and then from that we can kind of pick apart the best angles to shoot things at. And it's difficult for me to say, a specific set of like things that we usually do. It's honestly, it's different for every project. Trust me, I wish so badly that I could create some sort of system with this where just each product was the same and it was just systematic. This. I wish so badly I could set that up, but it's just not. Each one is different. Each one requires a different angle from the hero image, whether you want to do it level, from above, from this angle, that angle. You could have each piece of the product at a little bit different angle just to kind of make it look a little more dynamic. The shadows that, everyone is different. It's difficult for me to say, to put each one into a category. I think it's just kind of a learned thing. We've seen so many different products. I guess we just kind of know what looks good and what doesn't.
So when you're taking that picture, I've seen people that go very, like, they're shooting down on it. Let's take a look at that water bottle or supplement container.
Right.
Where is the best way to take the photo? Is it directly in front, shooting up a little bit, shooting down a little bit? Where do you find that sweet spot?
For a water bottle or a
just
supplement
like
bottle?
I could say it could be for a coffee mug, but
Yeah. I think both. We could do both into the same category. I think that a really cool image, a really dynamic looking image for a water bottle or a supplement would be level to slightly below level looking up at it, just because it looks, it looks so stoic. And all of the other competitors most likely, okay, this is a good way. This is a good answer for your question before. It depends on the competitors. If every competitor is doing one thing, a lot of the time we might look at doing one alternate image like that, but then we'll also do something to be a little bit more dynamic. So for a lot of the water bottles, you're going to see something straight on, either level or slightly above level. But I think it would be really cool to do a water bottle slightly below level, so you're looking up at it at an angle, and then maybe even put a water splash behind it or something like that, just so it looks real professional and it's going to stand out.
Right. I was at a conference this weekend, and I just showed like a screenshot of first page, and they had, and I don't even think I had all. I might have had 12 different products there, and I had one. Every single one was exactly the same. And it was black.
We see
it
that
was
all the
going
time.
top to right, bottom right to top left. And anyways, I just put a splash of yellow into the product, and I just asked, which item are you going to click on? 90% of the room said the yellow. Not that it was a better product, not that it had more reviews.
Yep.
It was just a little different. It's crazy how it works.
Yeah, and again, you just got to be capable of putting yourself in the shoes of someone who's looking for that particular product on Amazon. And what do you look for? Is it I mean, most people probably are looking for a combination of a professional looking main image and reviews, right? And you probably know that better than I do because I am only focused on the image portion rather than, all of the SEO and all of the other facets that go into it. But when I personally am looking for something on Amazon, those are the two things that I'm focused on.
Right. When you're putting together your images, primary, going throughout, are there just some basic no-nos, mistakes that people make?
Yeah, yeah, and it would get back to what we were saying before with the blurry images. That is by far the most common thing that we'll see. And I guess I should clarify that when you see a blurry image, a lot of the time it's just because it's too low of a resolution.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Amazon has the minimum requirements being 1,000 by 1,000. We typically do 3,000 by 3,000 standard because when you don't do the images big enough, that means you can't, as far as I understand, you can't put your cursor over it and then it will zoom in on
Correct.
the image.
Yeah.
So if you do it too small, that is a huge no-no when you think about it. That a lot of the times it's almost like a deal breaker for me anyways.
Walmart it is. Did you know that on Walmart, if you don't, like, filling the field is everything. Well, unless everybody does, and then you maybe make it a bit smaller to throw people's eyes off. But anyways, Walmart will not publish an image if there's 30% white space. You can't even upload it.
They're that specific about it?
Yeah. And the other thing that you just talked about, like the 1,000 pixel, a lot of times that I've seen it is that somebody will take something from 500 pixels and increase it to 1,000 pixels. So it really, the image just blows out.
Exactly. You see that all the time, and it might not be something that most people are looking for, but we see that all the time. And a lot of the times it's because, that's a reason that a lot of people purchase our Amazon packages is because they just think that their pictures look terrible. They had it done, on a very, very low cost budget type deal, or they did it themselves and they can't figure out why they just don't look right on Amazon, why they can't zoom. Those are the reasons. And it just ends up looking so awful. And, it's one of those things where you could do all of this legwork. And if you decide to just cheap out on that last piece of the puzzle, it can ruin everything.
So I want to just ask the audience, any of the listeners, what have been your good, bad, and ugly experiences with photographers? And please don't name the photographer if you've had a bad experience. But
I love to hear things like this.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about what your experiences have been. Now, I can tell you one, like I went through photography. That's one of the things. I don't do it anymore, but I let other people do it for me because that's not my bag anymore. But what I've seen is that you might have a person that's really great with lifestyle, great with models, but really suck at product photography. Product photography on it by itself is, it's very, very specific. And I know, like in my past life, you could set up the lighting on a specific shoot. It could take quite a long time to get it perfect. Mm-hmm. And, now it's a little bit different. I'm talking going back, 25, 30 years ago and, working with some product photographers. Man, it would take forever to get that one shot.
Yep.
And
that's kind of what I was talking about before too. It's not like your traditional photography. And that's why when we're hiring people, it's not necessarily a plus for us if you've been a photographer your whole life, because this isn't like that. A lot of the time, so in photography, aperture is very important, especially for product photography, because when you're messing around with aperture, that affects the blurriness on the edges of the product. That's the simplest way I'll possibly put that. Right. And when you're doing a lifestyle image, having one set of aperture where it blurs the background, similar to how it does on the new iPhones, except the new iPhone does it artificially. But on a real camera, it actually makes the background blurry. When you do this with a product, you'll get blurry edges on the product. When you're cutting out the product and making it a white background, that's not good. So you want to have each piece of the puzzle as clear as day. You want to have the background clear, technically in this case. But so like what you're talking about, where some photographers are great with lifestyle photography, it's because it's a totally different set of rules. So when people have done stuff like that for their whole professional careers, and then you try to switch them into this very unique type of photography and product photography, a lot of the times it doesn't go well. And you end up with them taking pictures of, we'll say, for the bottle example, which we keep, this is the focus of this entire show.
All right, there we go.
So let's say there were 3 of those and you had them lined up. One was closer, one was further. The way that a professional photographer would do it is he would accidentally have the front one blurry, the middle one clear as day, and the back one would be blurry. And it's just, you can't have that at all on Amazon. So, you know, it's a different set of rules for product photography.
Right. Okay. Kels, I'm just looking at the time. We've got, 5, we've got 7 minutes, right?
Yep. Yeah. We can jump into
how
some
are the questions coming?
Yeah, we got lots coming in.
Okay, let's start.
We can jump into. All right. From Simon, can you recommend any free software to retouch images?
Free software is tough. Honestly, I don't really know of any that's good enough. I really don't. We've tried some stuff in the past, but ever since that, you know, that was years ago, and we've been pretty exclusive to Adobe Photoshop ever since then. Honestly, I don't know of any good free ones. There might be some out there. I just don't know.
Right. I'm trying to figure the one that we used to use a lot. We use Adobe now, like all the time. I forget. There was one. It wasn't GIMP, but GIMP will do it. But there's another. Let me just see. I'm trying to talk and look this up. Okay, next question, and I'll try to find this for Simon.
All right. Next question is from Rad. Do you have a package with the model for lifestyle photography? Because I do not want to be photographed with the product because my face is for radio.
Me too.
Yeah. So is this particular question just, and sorry, I don't know if there's follow-up to be allowed if they can respond, but I guess what I'll say is within this one, it sounds like that would fall into the Amazon package with both the lifestyle option and the live model option. So on our website, when you click on Amazon package as one of the options, you'll have drop-down menus, and you'll have the type of background that you want to have if you want to have a type of model. So in this instance, it would be lifestyle option and live model. So that's very, very common for us, and we'd be happy to help you out.
All right, I'm going to drop your link right now. So
Awesome.
Rad, you can check out that in the comments. All right, and we'll jump into our next question. From Simon, how do you eliminate the reflection of lights on high gloss products?
It's tough. You got to use, it depends on the shape of the product. It depends on the type of gloss, if it's chrome mirrored or if it's glass. Clear glass is a different story because you also have to account for the backside of the glass. So it makes it more difficult with light cards. But a lot of the times you're going to be using a professional light box in those instances, and or white light cards. You want to hide the actual bright spot of the lighting as best you can. You also need to hide yourself, the camera, the background, everything behind you. You need to hide all of that. And then maybe the real answer is the editing afterwards.
Right. Yeah. I was going to say a diffusion filter or editing.
Yeah, kind of a combination of both. It's hard to get it perfect without the editing portion. I'll put it that way.
All right. From Jessica Rabbit, good photography evokes emotion. How does photography for sales compare? What's your analysis for sales and mind's eye view of what elements of a photo sells?
Well, I guess so. As far as the actual emotion portion of it, there's been a lot of customers who come to us with their, analysis, and they have all of that stuff mapped out. And that part is tough for us because a lot of times when customers come to us and their main description is an emotion that they're trying to capture, it's very, very difficult for us to go based off of that. When I think of the emotional side of the portion, I typically look at that more as the seller's responsibility to figure out what that's going to mean to their customers. And then we'd ask that they communicate that to us because we've gone down that road a couple times. And typically it ends up where we will have one idea and the seller will have something completely different in mind that they thought it was going to be. And then we just end up doing revisions back and forth. But the best answer that I'll give you in this instance is you got to make sure to copy it between the lifestyle portion, the live models, or most specifically, the infographics. That's your best opportunity to provide as much information as you possibly can because you got to have your great image and you got to have good infographics. That's what I would say are the most two important things because when you think about when you're looking at an Amazon listing, I don't think I've ever read the text description in my entire life. I know that that's important for things, but me personally, I don't think I've ever looked at the text description within the listing. It's always based on what can be covered within the images, and you can go off the cliche of an image says 1,000 words or whatever the specific phrase is. But when you think about a good infographic that points out all of the unique features that your product has, why your product is better than the competitor, how your product is going to make your customer's life more convenient, or in this case, if you're specifically focusing on pushing a specific emotion to your customer, this is where you can do it. It's in the infographics. The majority of the time, it's in the infographics.
Very good. All right, Kels, one last question.
Okay, last question is from Manny. She asks, which order would you recommend on your Amazon listing? Zoomed in pictures, specs, lifestyle, etc.
Yeah, so that would the zoomed in pictures are one that a lot of people do. So you can either capture that effect through infographics, which is what we've been, kind of harping on. You can do that where, let's say you had a type of shirt with a very specific soft type of fabric. You could zoom in on the fabric within the infographic, or you could do an image dedicated specifically to the type of fabric. We see both, and I think it depends on the product and how much you want to focus on it. If it's your main competitive advantage, I would put it in its own image by itself. And if it's just a nice feature amongst other things, I would put it in an infographic. But definitely a great thing to do. It's something that we see all the time. And another thing to mention along those lines is make sure that you include the dimensions of your product. Probably not specifically for clothing, like I was just saying, but for a water bottle, for example, people want to know the dimensions. People want to know if it's going to fit inside of a cup holder. And a lot of times we see people forget to include that stuff.
Okay. Well, you know what? You are off the hook. 12:45. Bang on.
Perfect. I really appreciate it. And, I want to say one thing that I was super interested in was I want to hear the complaints that people had from other product photographers. That gives me great ideas for things that we can do moving forward.
Well, if we see any in here, I haven't been able to really read too many of the comments, but Kelsey, if we do have them, we got to forward them on.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll let you know.
Okay. Well, Stephen, thank you for being part of the podcast today. It's been great having you on. We'll have you back on sometime. And I really appreciate you, just giving us the knowledge.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys having me on. It's a great opportunity. Everyone's been very professional and great to work with. And just the one message to everyone watching: don't cheap out on your images. They might be the most important part.
You got it. All right, Stephen, we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Okay, just before we get to the Wheel of Kelsey, one last chance. We'll give it about 30 seconds to a minute. If you want to enter and get 5 images, it's Stephen's basic package. And what he'll do is he'll create one infographic and a few other white background images. Well worth it. It's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey. If you want to join and have a second entry, it's tag 2 people. So we'll just wait a couple of seconds. One of the things that we could talk about, Kels, while we're doing this is that if you are interested in getting more, Kelsey always says the beard, but if you want more information about our Patreon page, check it out. There's everything from a free cup of coffee for Kelsey up to some additional training. So you can just check that out on our Lunch with Norm page under memberships. We also are going to have a really good Wednesday session with Richu Java. I saw her. I never had a chance to talk to her. I just had a nod, and she thought, she just kind of nodded back. We never had a chance to talk, but she's going to be on. And you know what? The last time she was on, I think it was one of the most top 10 downloaded podcasts. So she's going to be on again, talking about Amazon advertising, the reports and how to understand them, and PPC. So it'll be pretty cool. Kelsey, we got everything ready?
Yeah, everything is good to go. Yeah, we're all set. I just
Thank you,
want to
Simon.
say,
I'm glad to see Simon thinks our Patreon page does not suck.
That is right. Yeah, so if you do enjoy today's episode, please give us those thumbs up, slap those like buttons, smash those like buttons. I don't know what's happening, but yeah, it is Monday. Oh my goodness. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and we can jump right into the wheel. And here we go.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
Okay, here we go. Just let everyone know we did well, I haven't told Norm this, but I think we're going to do a new rule where if we don't hear back from the winners within, let's say, 48 hours, we're going to spin again. Just because there are, when YouTubers win, usually they might not know they've won, and then it's hard to reach out. So there's a chance that you may be the winner if you're not reached out, if the original winner isn't reached out upon first. So just to let everyone know.
And that's 48 hours from the live broadcast.
Yes, the live broadcast. So yeah, here we go. 3, 2, 1. So please email me k@lunchwithnorm.com, and we'll see who the winner is. Okay, Andy.
All right. Congrats, Andy.
Andy.
It's a great prize.
He's a member of our Patreon, actually. So
yeah,
I'm sure we'll hear all about this. That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you, everyone who entered today's draw, and come back for our next episode for another Wheel of Kelsey.
Ritu's going to be awesome, so I can't wait.
Yeah.
All right, so just a quick shout out. I wanted to give a shout out to Z.co. They are a sponsor, a new sponsor. And so here we go. Looking to leap from local to global with your e-commerce business? You can with the help of Z and their brand new app. That's right, you can track your live shipments with push notifications. Get detailed lead times for each stage of your shipment, and store all compliance and VAT reclaim documentations in the palm of your hand, all while listening to Lunch with Norm. So to get more information, please contact z.co. That's zee.co. There we go, Kelsey.
All right.
We're done for the day.
Awesome.
There's dead air, Kels.
Yeah, we're all done.
Okay,
nice.
So I'll do it for you then,
I think
okay? If you're not going to do your job and there's dead air,
My Wi-Fi was cutting out. Okay, all right. So I'm working on the
Yeah,
Wi-Fi
yeah.
issue.
You're looking in a mirror with your stash. Okay. So thanks everybody for joining us today. Yeah, remember to slap the snake buttons, as Kelsey would say today. But join us every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for being part of the community. We couldn't do this without you, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Lunch with the